Okay, so just so y'all know, Shady comes up with this list of questions, but the very first one is, "Who are you?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm supposed to know who I am, and I'm having a meltdown. And it's
so yeah, that was fun. That was a time. Not sure if I can expound more than that. Sorry.
I mean,
now it sounds like a great time.
Right? If you want to gross out some people, I'm game.
Can't say no.
It's not peer pressure so much as you don't want to let somebody down. And Marisa is quite good at that too. Melissa,
it's just not about me.
No, I think you learned it from Girl Casey because nobody can say no to you either.
What are you talking about? Look, there's a reason Casey and I are friends and have been friends for a long time.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about how long ago that was.
All right. Marisa, were you ever headmistress? Were you ever?
No, I think I just helped. I didn't lead. I prefer the supporting role.
I know we had Danielle. Yeah. Anyway. So
I do have new
maybe we'll try and bring that back. But
do it. Melissa said she'd totally go if she could be in charge of corsets and kilts. Cackled the whole time. And our husbands also cackled the whole time, to the point that we would invite other people, sometimes Hooters and Snark, by being very clear, the intent of Hooters and Snark is to snark while realizing that you yourself should in fact be the main target of your snarking because you are covered in Hooters sauce.
Cool. Before I take too much more time, what's one thing, Marisa, we'll go back to start with you. What's one thing you'd want the audience to know about Casey that she probably know for sure she doesn't talk about herself on her channel, that she doesn't, because she's not the kind of person to brag too much. She'll brag about certain things, right? She knows when she's hot shit, but at the same time, there's certain things she won't say. So what's one thing you want the audience to know that she wouldn't say about herself?
Man, I mean, first of all, her level of loyalty to her friends and how much she believes in the talent of other people. I don't know. I mean, you'll hear her talk about it sometimes because she'll be like, "Oh, my talented friend, my beautiful friend, my wonderful friend." You'll hear it, but I don't know if people know how hard she will work to make that clear. Now she's here and she can hear me. Fuck. So
no, go ahead and let her in. Let her in.
All right.
I want to see her expressions of this. Oh, yeah. I'm going to force her to listen to this now.
Hi, Casey. She left.
Bailed.
Rude. That was amazing. She was here though. You also. She'll be back. She will work her ass off for the people she believes in. And I don't think people see that if they're not in that circle. She will make a point to coach you through a conversation, to introduce you to somebody you should talk to drop your name in the room. She is the person you want talking about you in a room you're not in. And she is just really amazing at that. She's back, so now I can stop being nice about her. Hi, I like Casey's fuck you. I don't hear nice things. I'm out. Boom.
Hi, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I tried to enter and then it went away. So hi guys, I miss you all.
Hey. Hi, Mom.
Hey.
Oh, it's
Say nice things about you. It was kind of great because I added you and I was like, now she has to listen to us say nice things about her. She was like, I cannot wait to see your face. And you were instantly like, bye.
My bitch.
Immediately left. And I was like, yep, that's what she does.
Timing was perfect.
She's like, no, thank you.
Oh, that's funny. I'm sorry about that.
It couldn't have actually worked out better. So
it'll play
well. Perfect.
So that's it. So now you don't get to hear the nice things I said about you until you watch the video. So
All right. We will come back to this, but since I finally got Casey to join us, before we get too far from the origin stories, we've all discussed how we met and a little bit of some of like the trouble you've helped us cause, and a little bit of how, you know, what you when the moment or when it was that we kind of trusted your judgment on whether or not we would make good writers, kind of thing. But I want to hear without anybody else, you know, kind of discussing how we told it. What is your take, if you can, you know, and you'll have definitely enough time to do this. What's your take on these kind of origin stories? I know you and I have talked about mine previously, so you can kind of shortcut that one and move on. But the other four, I'd love to hear about.
So Marisa was already writing beautiful stuff when I met her, because I met her through writing. We were doing Pern fan fiction together. And if you've ever been involved in any kind of fan fiction organization, you know that quality of storytelling is not necessarily a requirement for membership in any of these organizations, which is fine because they're just there for like fun, right? But there was this girl, and she kept writing these characters that I thought were funny and interesting and complex, and like inevitably my characters kept wanting to fall in love with her characters, and she was always up for it, you know. So that's, you know, that's sort of how we first connected, was through storytelling and writing and character shenanigans and you know, for the various definitions of that word. And so when it came to like encouraging her to, so I already knew she was a good writer. Like I there were things about her writing that I aspired to emulate. And so when the opportunity came to me to start writing in the Four Horsemen universe, I was already involved in a different project, and I was feeling like, well, if I'm going to try and get these things done on time, which is laughable in retrospect, but if I'm going to try to get these things done on time, I'm probably going to need a little bit of help. And so, you know, she was at the top of my list of people that like I knew could write, that I knew I could write with well, and that writing with her made my work better. So really, it's all about me. So, so that was why. That was, but that was initially why I was like, "Hey, Marisa, read this short story and tell me if you like it." And then when she said that she did, then I was like, "Cool. Do you want to write a novel based on this story with me?" So that was Marisa. Joy and I. So I knew Joy I knew Joy was mostly involved in writing as an editor. But we were actually talking recently at Fantaside this past October about romance, the romance business, romance novels, how there's so much money to be made in romance. And basically we just kind of came up with an idea together, and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. So Joy's pretty much the most recent of my recruits, I guess. And by this point it was sort of a known phenomenon, so I had that working in my favor. Melissa I actually didn't recruit. That was all Casey. But I was super thrilled when he brought her to the party essentially and was like, "Hey, Melissa's writing now too for Chris Kennedy." And I was like, "Holy shit, that's awesome." And we kind of got started talking mostly, I think, through the cantina, right, Melissa? Yeah, through our Saturday cantina chats. And then you know, just because we've actually known each other, Melissa and I have known each other since the early 2000s. Just
yesterday, you know.
Good time math.
06, 07-ish.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And then Boy Casey. So Boy Casey I've known since we were cadets at the Air Force Academy together, and we have a really long history. my best friend in pilot training was his fiance. And then when we lost her, we went through that whole process of mourning her together. And so, Casey has always been, like a part of my heart, wherever I go, right, whatever I do. And when back in the early days of our friendship, when we were all hanging out, Casey and Tammy, his late fiance, and me, one of our favorite things to do was to play role-playing games. And we would tell stories about these role-playing games. And it was just such an immersive pastime. And, we would the three of us would bounce the ideas off each other. And I think like we wrote them down sometimes, because we were so enamored with our own like story. And
we had to pass them to Lou for experience points. So
and that's right. And then we turned it in for experience points. We did. So we had it like bound at Staples. I think I still have it on the shelf. But yeah, so the like gaming or the storytelling, collaborative storytelling aspect of role playing was always something that was sort of a part of my dynamic with Boy Casey from the beginning. And when we did lose Tammy, and when we were kind of going through that process of grief together, I feel like we continued to talk about stories and tell stories, and that was, at least for me, a little bit of a healing mechanism and stuff. So when I finally got, fast forward to, again, I'm involved with Bane, and I'm involved with Chris Kennedy, and the Four Horsemen universe really started taking off. And I was like, I started thinking about it, and I was like, who would be really good at this is Casey Morse, because again, the Four Horsemen universe is a mercenary-based mil sci-fi universe, right? And Casey has a military background just like me, but it's not your typical like, a lot of the mercenary combat in the Four Horsemen universe is either like David Weber style, big spaceship battles, or it's like, in mech infantry getting on the ground and throwing Mac rounds in each other's face. Casey is an aviator like I am, and I feel like there should always be more aviators in the Four Horsemen universe. Plus, also, I did remember that you loved. You were really excited about like battle mech.
Battletech, yeah.
Battletech, mech based RPGs. So I knew it would be right up his alley, and so I reached out and was like, "Hey, read these books, and then come write some." So, fortunately for Casey, he found Kevin Eikenberry, who is, a much better teacher of, okay, I'm like the person that's like, okay, go write the book. Good luck, have fun, do a good job. And it's like, oh, you don't know how. Okay, let me show you what you need to do. So, yeah, and then with you, Shady, it was again through the gaming, right? Through running games together, I could tell that you had an aptitude for telling stories and for world building and for creating interesting characters with interesting dynamics between them and stuff. So, yeah.
So I'm gonna make a note. All of her stories are very much like, oh yeah, I came to you with this idea, and you went, yes, I'm going to do it. We all noted that there's like a certain part of you that you come to us, and we're just like, I can't say no to you, can I?
I mean, you can.
Yeah, and then watch the disappointment cross your face.
I do disappointed mom pretty well. I do. Yeah.
Superpower.
So we were just getting to some of the kind of heartfelt things that we wanted your audience to know about you that we know you won't talk about yourself.
Okay.
And while I think and I even mentioned it at the beginning of that kind of particular place, and Marisa was just getting into her story, when you ended up jumping on, which was perfect timing. I did mention that there are certain things that I know for like we know for a fact you'll talk about yourself, like, because you do it well and you know you do it well and you deserve that. But we also know that there are certain things you keep to yourself because that's the kind of person you are, right? You are humble in many ways. And so this was, and I'm glad you finally jumped on for this, because I'm really just going to enjoy watching the reactions, and I'm sure the audience will as well, as people tell this story. But we'll jump back over to Joy. And if you want to tell us one thing you want Casey's audience to know.
The one thing I think she will never tell about herself, and that I really treasure, is that she is really excellent at lifting up and supporting those people that she values, and building them up and helping them to get the resources they need, and supporting them in all the ways that she can see that they need. And that's hard to find these days. It really is.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's nice.
It's all you, girl.
Melissa, as you're in a unique situation, if you want to do Moops and Casey in one shot, I'll let you do it.
So to speak. Okay.
Are we doing phrasing? We're not doing phrasing? Okay.
Phrasing,
No,
we're not doing phrasing
no
anymore. No, okay.
Okay.
Oh no,
We're not
phrasing's there.
doing anymore?
Phrasing is there.
So we've all kind of said it already. Like Casey is most excellent at like uplifting everybody. She's the original cheerleader. She, like, if she believes in you, she lets you know that she believes in you. She's also just a really good friend. Like if you're struggling, like, or something scary is going on where you live because you live in a crappy place, she'll reach out and go, "Are you okay?" And I'll go, yes, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's on fire. It's cool. Casey.
Also, how quickly can you move?
Yeah, right? 10 years. Give me 10 years. I would say 15 years. One thing I would want people to know about, my original Casey Moops, is that, he's also a really great friend. And he dragged me into this gleefully. But he's also been really supportive, and, he's taught me everything he knows, which is a lot. It's a lot. And I will cheerlead his ass like forever. Even if I accidentally say the wrong word at panels, it's fine.
Salvage angel.
Sometimes you just drop a letter and it works out great. It happens.
For the audience at home, feel free to pronounce that yourself, and you'll figure it out.
Just come up with some thoughts.
You'll figure it out.
Hey, I had one more thing about girl Casey, is she will sing your praises behind your back when you have no idea she's doing it or who she's talking to. She is not shy about promoting her friends. And that is invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Moops, what do you got?
Mine's just a little bit different. I'm going to proclaim that she is one of the cooler moms out there because for one specific instance, she, for those that don't know, she deployed to Iraq for a year and taught the Iraqis how to fly. Obviously, in a time when that country was not very safe to fly around in anywhere. So she did that for a year. While she was gone, of course, she missed one of her was Corey your only daughter at the time? You didn't have Lisa.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So she missed her daughter's birthday that year, but to make up for it, she went out to the burned out hull of an Iraqi tank and spray painted "Happy Birthday, Coriel" on the barrel. Was it just all over the tank, or was it all over everything? Or?
It started on the barrel, and then
she had a "Happy
like the
Birthday,
love mommy
Coriel"
was on the
graffitied
turret part.
onto a burned out Iraqi tank.
Yeah.
So she is one of the coolest moms in the history.
I actually had a lot of help with that stunt because so I had posted the picture on my Facebook, and one of my neighbors in the neighborhood where I was living before my deployment in Alexandria saw it because we were Facebook friends, and she had a son who was in Coriel's first grade class at the time. And so she took that picture and emailed it to the first grade teacher, who had it, who like displayed it up on their like projector smart board or whatever when Coriel like came in from lunch or whatever.
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was like I haven't talked to the woman's name is Kim. I haven't talked to her face to face in years. We still keep in touch on Facebook, but she did one of those like what's one memory of me kind of things, and I put that on there. I was like, this is why, even though I haven't seen you face to face in over a decade, I will always consider you one of my like dear mom friends, and because thanks for enabling me to give my baby girl a happy birthday, even though I was on the other side of the planet. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So mine's a little twofold. She was known around our squadron as the Mama Bear, back at the 459th. But more particular, I'm pretty sure we all know she has that kind of trait to her where she's very protective of her family, which is a real cool thing to see. But she's also, like Marie mentioned, very protective of her friends, very, very loyal to that, right? So long as you don't betray that trust. And you and I had talked about it on our previous interview about how you had asked me to be the master of ceremonies, MC your retirement. And, I was like, hey, what lines am I not allowed to cross? And you laid the rules down, and I knew exactly what the rules were going to be before I'd even asked the question, but I figured I'd ask anyway. And then I proceeded to ignore about half of them, but they were all in good fun.
That's because I only give you 2 rules.
I know. It's real easy to ignore half.
Don't embarrass my family, and don't insult my boss, the officiant. Or yeah, well, I don't know what the right word is, but
and technically, I ignored 2/3 of those rules because both Easy and your boss got embarrassed just slightly. But
I don't know that he was embarrassed.
Oh, they probably.
I was gonna say, Easy does not.
Easy. Oh no, Easy wasn't embarrassed.
Yeah.
Easy enjoyed it.
Okay.
He enjoyed that.
Like,
But no, but it's been one of those things that not only does she care about you, right? Like she will come talk to you, but she also has this really good thing about it, for those of us who have families, going to your family as well. And she may, whenever we get together, making sure everybody's good. She really has that mama bear quality. And if you're in that circle, like you can count on her. If I go to Casey, and I go, hey, I got this favor I need to ask of you. Like if it's within her power, she'll grant it. And, and I know, like me personally, I know I will owe her, but I know that that's not what she's thinking about when she does it. She's doing it because that's who she is. And then the second piece of that, which to me is something that I've always kind of prided myself on a little bit, but it was nice to see. And it was, again, one of those reasons that you and I clicked so well when we were working together in Yokota was you had that ability to give it to somebody straight without being like a douchebag about it, right? Without being a jerk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a nice compliment. That's what I'm striving for. No douchebaggery.
Yeah, no douchebaggery. I knew
Cool.
you'd appreciate it.
surprisingly not that low. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No, but if there's something going on, you're like, if you have one of those "Am I the asshole?" stories, she'll be like, "Yeah, you're the asshole. Like, fucking figure it out." Or, no, you're actually good there. Like,
yeah.
And there's been a couple times where I've gone to her and just like ranted about something going on, and then she goes, "Shady, I want you to listen to yourself. Think about what you just said." Yeah, you're right. All right. I'm in the wrong here. I'll go back to what I was doing.
It's not very often. Most of the time you're right.
Yeah. Well, but every once in a while, and you can always count on her for that too, right? Like it's not always just about the good times, that kind of thing. It's how she reacts when you might be going through stuff. And because there are a lot of people we can say are friends when we're all having good times. It's who you can count on when the shit hits the fan. That's where Casey like really does it well. Cool.
Thank you. Very kind.
Casey, would you like to respond to any of that?
I don't think that I don't know. I feel like you guys are maybe giving me a little bit more credit for altruism than I probably deserve. Because the thing of it is that I look at it like I give back what I receive from, from the people in my life. And, I feel like any one of you does the same for me. Like you guys check on me when I'm across the world in Japan, or when you haven't seen me in a while, you guys make sure that everything is going well with me, with my family, and all that kind of stuff too. So I am certainly not unique in doing these things, but it makes me happy to know that you guys appreciate them, and I love you all too. Do we get to sing Kumbaya now? Because I'm really looking forward to that part.
Yeah. I'm gonna go grab my lighter real quick and my banjo or something, and we'll sit here and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
I heard Moobs is gonna lead the chorus.
There
There we go.
Get ready.
So is there any now that she's here? And I know Marisa had a story that had flashed across her face. No, you're not gonna. Nope. All right. Is there any?
I can leave. Do you want me to leave?
No. That's not why
that.
she's not telling it.
Yeah. He was asking like most shenanigatory stories, and I was like, that I want to tell on the internet. And then I told Hooter, I called it Wings and Snark, and Boy Casey quickly corrected that it was Hooters and Snark.
Hooters and Snark. Yep.
So we talked a little bit about that, and then I thought of something else, and Shady saw it on my face, and I was like, no, not on the internet. You can meet me at a con, and maybe I'll tell it to you with no recording device.
Hey, quick show of hands. How many of us have lots of stories we would not tell on the internet here today with Girl Casey?
Let's all all.
So good. Come see us at a con. Maybe we'll tell you. Who knows?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway.
No, and the only reason I know some people are like, oh, why does he keep bugging Marisa? She clearly doesn't want to tell it. I will say that I offered them the ability to tell me to cut a story, right? So nothing that you're gonna see pop up will have passed the I'm gonna allow that on the internet filter by that point.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm only putting pressure on her in a fun way, and I know based on her face she understands it, but just to make sure everybody understands, we're all on the same page about this. Cool. Speaking of, Casey, if there are any particular shenanigans stories you think you want to share, now that you're here, I would love to hear. One, I want to see if anybody's forgotten something, but two, like where you go for shenanigan stories versus where we go.
Gosh, I don't know. Again, like I'm trying to think, okay, what can go on the internet, right? I will say for Boy Casey, one of my favorite, memory stories was when our friends who lived in Albuquerque were getting married to each other, and Casey and I, neither of us lived in Albuquerque at the time, but we had this long, because this was before, I don't know, we didn't video chat and stuff. This was cell phone long distance. We had this long distance planning conference where we planned this epic traveling bachelorette party, and we had and it was this whole process of getting the boys to this place, getting the girls to this other place, then getting them together, and then getting them, and it was awesome, and it worked out great, and we had a ball, and everyone, the bride and groom had a ball, and so I just remember that perpetual fist bump moment where it was yeah, bro, we did this,
That was epic.
It was epic. There was a pimp cup. There was
a pimp cup. There was a stretch hummer.
Yeah, stretch hummer limo. Yeah.
There were lots of kilts.
Yes, many kilts. Many very short skirt kilts. Yes. Casey's Gypsy Hot Wife, all kinds of fun things.
So good.
Yeah, the ketchup is.
So that's one of my favorite memories of Casey. Oh, and then also when we did New Year's Eve in South Beach, that was pretty epic.
Yeah, also epic.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
We have some epic memories. I'm sorry. Yeah,
we do. Yeah. Melissa's let's see, epic stories with Melissa would probably be one of the Dragon Cons we all went to together, because there was like a whole group of us. We were all like super cute, like girls wearing corsets, and we would like walk out together, all of us, and just like look like hot shit. And yeah, so that was what
That was one of my stories too.
Back
you brought
when
up the shirts.
adorable.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Joy, I haven't known nearly as long. I think probably some of my favorite like moments with Joy have been, well, some of them honestly were just this past October at Factory Cons, just like sitting around the fire and talking about stuff and life and people and all kinds of stuff like that. And then also plotting our project together has been a really good time. Like I really enjoyed getting together with you and talking about like, who are these characters and how are we going to get them together and what are we going to do with them and what kind of elements do we want to include and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Risa, gosh,
Shenanigans.
hatchings, perhaps.
Nice.
Doing some hatchings, yeah, online hatchings. All the snark that goes with running an online burn club where we're like, what is wrong with you people? But definitely hanging out in person at Dragon Con, Dragon Sex panel. Yep.
Pretty
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Hooters and Snark for sure. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then Shady, my Finny flight, having basically appetizers at the Kill Bill restaurant in downtown Tokyo. That was pretty fun. That was pretty great. This wasn't on my Finny flight because the weather was bad and we couldn't get there, but other times when we went and landed at the foot of Mount Fuji, that was also really great. All the touring we did around Japan, all the game nights, late night brownies that we would coerce my child into making for us.
I distinctly remember she would volunteer, and then we would go.
I mean,
Why? Yes, please.
she
Was
thought
she
she volunteered.
I may have
Using power
mentioned
for
on my
good.
way into the door. It may have slipped out. Like, hey, Coriel, you're making brownies now, right?
She may
Hey,
have had that
voluntold is
idea
a thing.
planted in her head, but yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. You guys are good people and you're great storytellers, and I enjoy interacting with you both on a personal friendship level, but I also really enjoy working with each of you because I get to kind of dig into that storytelling piece of you, right? Like and see where you go with these threads that we create, and that's a lot of fun. So.
All right, I'm gonna go around the horseshoe here. Anybody got any final things they would like to say to Casey now that she's here with us? You know what? I'll start a little backwards. I'm gonna start with you, Melissa. Is there anything you want to tell both Moops and girl Casey? Since I apparently calling her She Casey is too much like She-Hulk.
And I mean, it's not canon. So
It's not canon, and I refuse to call Casey either Casey Grandmama, but
we did establish.
Fair. Yeah.
Speaking of, because of our last interview, we did establish that Melissa is your grand writing baby because that's canon now.
It's canon. I just love that we have canon.
Yeah.
The effect.
Like,
That's
our friendships have canon. That's okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's on the internet. It's canon.
Yep.
No, sure.
Is that how that works? Okay.
Absolutely. I'm starting that right now. That's canon
As
also.
the CKP world turns.
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Melissa, sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to say something. No, you all, I love you both. You're my friends, and I'm happy to have you as my friends. And writing or not, like the writing stuff is like the coolest thing ever. But when I was at Superstars, not having shenanigans with Marisa at all, there were no shenanigans, none. But I had that minor epiphany of like, I keep saying writing is the coolest thing ever, and it totally is. But it would not be nearly as much fun without all of you guys. So, friends, I love you all.
Joy, what do you got?
There's
Yeah, I'll go and give you time to think.
please.
The mine's just slightly different. I just want to specifically say, Casey, thank you for bringing me to LibertyCon, I think in 2019.
Oh, that was epic. That was one
that's
of
kind
your
of
like.
that's where I made the connections and met the people, and it became. I have a short story that I wrote in the 4HU that I think only you have seen, and I think actually Mark might have seen it at some point. But then I met the people and sort of like started
Yeah.
seeing the vision of how I could become a writer. I went to Chris Kennedy and said, "Hey, I got a short story," and he was like, "Do you have a web page? Do you have a emailing list? And do you have all the things that writers have?" And I was like, "They have a short story." If I hadn't gone to LibertyCon, I couldn't have started seeing myself as a writer and starting to thinking of things I needed to do to make it more than I got a short story.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Was that was the year that like you ended up having to like take the Greyhound or something, right?
Oh God,
24
yeah, and I
hours of
showed up a
travel?
zombie. I was
Yeah.
there. That was where my travel curse, my con travel curse started.
And I just remember driving over to the like train station or bus station in
Bus
Chattanooga
station. You picked me up
like
at a bus
7 in the
station at 8
morning.
a.m. when I'd been traveling for about 40 hours. And I was like, okay, let's start the day off.
No, Casey has like the worst luck ever. Like, never travel with him. Just don't do it.
I'm hoping that just canceling Factory Con all out reset my curse. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that was a good time. That was a good time. And I'm glad you came. It's a good con.
Yeah.
It is. One of my faves.
Yeah, same.
Anyway. All right.
Joy, are you ready, or do I need to jump to Marisa?
Sure. I mean, who could not want to be friends with such a badass that lifts up
There's plenty of
everybody?
people.
They're dumb.
Those people are stupid.
There's a list.
And she's a lot of fun. She makes me have fun. Just working with her, hanging out with her is a lot of fun. We've been doing a lot of video chats lately, just partly about the book, but partly just to hang out. And who can't use more friends? I mean, shit, you guys make my life good.
Yes.
So
You make your life good. We're just happy to be able to be part of it.
I try. But you guys certainly help. Y'all put the fun in it.
Friends for the win.
Yep.
That's what it's all about sometimes. Marisa, what do you got?
I have two things. I probably have 100 things, but I have two for an hour and a half into this video. So one.
We don't do time math.
It's fine. We don't do time math.
said
You're
it.
right. It's true. It is the rule. Rule number one, don't be a dick. Rule number two, no time math. Thank you so much. So Casey was saying like there are plenty of people who don't want to be friends with her. So we were recently at MarsCon talking to another friend of ours, H.Y. Gregor. It's fabulous. And she was like, I don't know, like there's just some people, and we're like, yeah, not everyone's gonna get along with everyone. Like that's still cool. Like you can not like somebody I like. And then I was like, except Casey. If you don't like Casey, we're out. Like I can't. It's just not gonna work for me. So
Yeah.
That's a deal breaker.
that's my line. Like we can disagree on people. That's fine. I can still love them. But like if you don't like Casey, because related, my part two is like she's basically my sister. Like I love her. She's like my soulmate, my platonic
And not
soulmate.
just sister, but like full on identical twin, like same thought process.
Linked in the brain.
Yeah.
We're fine. We have the telepathic link. It's fine. It's like dragons. It's cool.
Same person, two bodies.
Right. So like if you don't like her, what are we doing here? This is not gonna work out. Like
For a
Sorry.
little while, I was just slightly worried that you guys were actually just one person and you were fooling me until I finally got you both on camera and I could prove that you
Yeah.
both exist in the same
Perfect.
same parallel, same
I mean,
universe.
AI has gotten very sophisticated, Shady.
Mhm.
It's true. It's
Great,
true.
now I have
How
to
many
rethink
fingers
all
do
I
I
know.
have? Anyway,
You have yet to see Marisa and I in a room together.
that's true. That's true. Gen Con
I don't have
2023. Be
anything for
there.
that.
We also have to have Melissa there because there's another gentleman out there who is pretty sure Melissa and I are the same people. So I may
Yeah.
just add Melissa to the list of like, if you don't like her, there's no way we're gonna get along.
Are you,
So
are you sure he just doesn't have a problem pronouncing an L?
it's possible. Like as Boy Casey did, we're just male Risa. It's fine.
Marisa.
MAEL guys, not MALE. Just
Yeah,
Right.
MAEL as in Maelstrom.
Just to be clear.
Makes
yeah.
sense.
So that's my Casey stuff. If you don't like Casey, you're not gonna like me. Don't waste our time. The end.
That's fair. That's
She's
fair, 'cause
upfront about
if
it,
people
right?
don't like you, they're not gonna like me.
I mean, that's not true because I think there are some people who are like, "Who is this loud purple-haired girl?" We don't know, but we love Casey. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
fine. You're
I don't
stupid,
think-
but that's
no.
fine.
No, there aren't those people. Those people don't exist.
Those people don't exist.
They're not
Yeah,
real.
those people are stupid. It's fine. It's fine.
Those people exist on an imaginary plane.
Yes.
Where
Part
they
of the
don't
multiverse.
matter, so it's
Where-
fine.
yeah.
But yeah, so Casey, she's my fave. She's my sister. I love her.
Casey and I know we've repeated this a lot, but I think we all mean it when we say thank you, right? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting in this group of wonderful people. I wouldn't have met them all at Superstars. I wouldn't have done a number of things. I mean, and you and I talked about it a little bit. Like maybe I'd have gotten into writing down the road, but it definitely it helps having you in my corner. And I know, and I made the joke about it before we went on air, but I'm going to bring it up now because I think it's an apt joke. But I will ride your coattails to the top. I'm going to set the bar
That
low.
assumes I'm gonna get to the top, though.
Oh, we all know.
It's getting pretty heavy on those.
We're all
coattails, too.
sitting in this chat
You
right
will.
now doing this recording because we know.
We know you will.
Oh, well, you guys are very kind. Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
I
there'll be a
appreciate
lot of
your
weight on those
confidence on my
coattails.
behalf. I might borrow some for a little while.
Got it. Utter faith in you.
Yeah, she's gonna use this anytime imposter syndrome starts to set in. Just come watch this video.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Because that's funny because I have several videos about imposter syndrome on my channel. So maybe I'll put this one on the same playlist and make like an imposter syndrome playlist. And then this will be like the
Yes.
last video on the playlist.
It's like,
Right.
you,
Nice.
imposter syndrome. It's not happening.
we got your back.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys, and thank you all for being my friends and for coming along with my crazy ass schemes and not being like no when I'm like, hey, I have an idea, So,
That would be dumb, and we're not dumb.
That,
no,
yeah,
you're
like
right, you're very smart people.
Well,
saying no to
sometimes I
you
can be
is
dumb.
just stupid.
Even you, Boy Casey. Even you. Simmer
Yeah.
down.
I feel a little bit like the Brady Bunch right now. I have to like
I
look
know,
to different sides. Like
Uh-huh.
anyway,
Yep.
For the people who know Casey.
The Casey bunch.
exactly.
Oh, boy.
Casey bunch. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Okay,
So
That's
we put it out just so you're aware. We put it out to a vote. We haven't decided if we're going to call ourselves the Cabal of Casey or Casey's
Mm.
Kids yet. So
ooh.
Definitely
But I
not-
actually
not
have
a
like
cult, please.
legitimate
We have
children
actual
of my
children.
body.
Actual kids.
So,
that's
Yeah.
true.
I like the
I like
Casey
Cabal.
bunch. Now that we've
Did
said
you like how I
Casey
had
bunch,
to
I
do
like the
this?
Casey
Yeah,
bunch.
right. The Casey Bunch.
The
That's where they
Casey.
came
Yep.
from.
Ba-da-ba-da.
We're still we're
Here's the story.
and we've mentioned a
Little
few
Red
people by
Stories.
name, and I'm not going to go back and call them out, but there are a few people missing that turned this down, mainly because they were busy,
sure,
not
sure.
because they didn't want to be here. But I am going to slightly give them the look of you're missing out, and so we'll
Okay,
we'll
the look of Casey disappointment.
That's it.
yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna give you the shady look of what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
So,
no, cool. So unless anybody has any final thoughts, Marisa, if you want to tell us what you're doing, where you're at, where the audience can
Yep.
find you again.
Yep. MauriceWolf.com, MauriceWolf.net. I go both ways. At Book Dogs on Instagram. If you like books, you like dogs. There we go. You can next find me next weekend. I don't know when this is going to be live in the world. So you can find me at Fantasy the end of March, Liberty Con in June, and Dragon Con Labor Day weekend, where almost everyone on this call will be because I heard Melissa's going. So that's canon now, apparently. Because it's on the internet.
Canon.
But yeah, come hang out with us in person, or come follow my newsletter, get a free short story, and you will get so many gifts. You're welcome. There's no T. It's GIFS. Gifts, not gifts.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that one. Thanks for that one. Joy, where can people find you?
You can find me online at Knitnick or at Spinners End Studio. Spinners End Studio is also a .com website that needs updated badly right now, so please don't go there. But I'll be at Fantasy, and I'll also be at LibertyCon and at FactoryCon. Those are all I know of for sure at the moment. So come see me.
Definitely stop by and see her. She's always got great stuff. Great stuff that she's selling.
I have 6 of her bags, and I want more. Go buy them.
They're so good.
Please.
Melissa, where can the audience find you?
So you can find me at melissaoltoff.net. If my website looks suspiciously familiar, it's because I 100% copied Maurice's homework. I will be at Fantasy with Marisa and Joy, and I will be at LibertyCon with everybody. I will hopefully be at InfinityCon down in Tallahassee with Nick Steverson and Ian Malone to promote our Space Hyena Insanity. And apparently I'm now going to Dragon Con.
Yeah, you are.
Canon. And
it's canon now.
It's canon.
If I can make it work, I will be there because I realize it's only like a 6-hour drive and I don't have to fly.
So good.
All right, Moops. Where can everybody... Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
All right.
Moops,
You can find
where
me
can
at
everybody-
caseymoores.net, but that's also a website that's kind of under construction and hopefully getting better in the next few weeks. But you can find me on Facebook as Casey Moores Writer. Remember that there's an S on the end of Moore. If you look me up on Amazon, it'll say, do you mean Casey Moore? If you don't, you mean Moores with an S. And you can also find me as Casey Moops on Instagram. And I'm going to be at LibertyCon. I'm going to be at Dragon Con. It's my first year being a professional at Dragon Con. I accepted as a professional at Dragon Con. So
Yeah, you did.
I will be there.
Yeah.
All righty.
Awesome. So
I'll go next because I'm going to have our guest of honor sign us off. But so you can find me at davidshadoin.com/home. On Instagram, I am under David Shadoin as well. And then on Twitter, you can find me at Shady68333. And on Amazon, I am probably the only Shadoin you can find because it turns out my last name's not very common. Real easy to find me. I will be at Dragon Con for sure next. I will be there only as a guest until somebody decides otherwise and I get dragged up onto a panel. But other than that, feel free to stop me, say hi, whatever you want. Casey.
I'm so excited for you to come to Dragon Con. And it's good that you're not coming as a pro your first year because you need to come and like
enjoy it.
Absorb the experience. Yeah.
I have been in Atlanta when Dragon Con is going on. I've just never been to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're
New year.
So I'm going to tell this story real quick. In
right.
2019, I didn't get to go to Dragon Con because I had just moved to Japan. And but my dad he travels for work, and he had a work trip in downtown Atlanta over Labor Day weekend, and he wasn't staying like immediate downtown, like in the middle of Dragon Con, but he was like right next door because he always stays at like a Marriott. So I think he was like at the Courtyard or something like that, which is right there, like on the periphery of all the action. And he called me and he was like, "Is this what you do every year?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm, this is like Monday." He's like, "These people look like they've been through a war." And I'm like, well, it's more like a 4-day bender. And he's like, "Yep, that checks. 100% checks."
Same.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Turns out the two are not all that dissimilar.
Not that this would work. So they're just a lot happier than it had it been, a war.
Yeah,
Bigger smiles,
Slightly more
Yeah.
self-imposed torture, turns out. Yeah.
That's true.
Shut up, liver, you're fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay. You regenerate.
You'll survive.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, that's Dragon Con. And I'm so excited you're gonna be there.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to be there as well. It'll be a good time. All right, Casey, if you want to send us off.
Oh, do I get to tell people where they can find me?
Absolutely.
Probably.
Okay, right here.
You're the
on this
star
channel.
power.
You found me.
Yeah.
Good job. So, yeah, all my links are in the description below. You guys know that. I thank you guys. Thank you, Shady, for putting this whole thing together, and thank you guys for doing this video. This is very kind. Super embarrassing, which I know you guys were. That was like goal number one. Is hey, let's
All here for.
That's
Yeah.
what we said,
But you know what? I'm game. I'll put it on the internet and make it count.
I did tell them how you introduced yourself to Cassie. So
It was
You
good.
did tell them that?
yes,
Nice. That, my friends, is Dragon Con.
yes.
Especially when you're like 23 and super cute. So I'm a little more circumspect these days. So, but yeah, so again, thank you, Shady. Thank you, Marisa, Joy, Casey, and Melissa. And thank you to all of you for sticking with this super long, super embarrassing video. I'm Casey Zell, and this is my Raider life.
Bye.
Oh, Chucky, your thumbs up. Don't forget. Okay.
Love this video.